I want to tell you a story today. When we think about goals and careers, one of the things to look at is, what are you doing? What are you willing to sacrifice for what you want to become? One time I had a sales manager early in my career when I was in sales, and he said, Paul, how much money do you want to make? I said, well, however much I can get. I mean, are you kidding? I don't want to put a ceiling on it. I want to make as much as I can. And he said, okay, well, I like your eagerness, young guy. And he said, do you want to make as much money as a doctor or a lawyer? And I said, that seems like a good metric. Those guys make, command pretty generous salaries, right? And he said, okay. He said, well, what does a doctor do to get to become a doctor? And I was like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, he goes to medical school and after college, and then I guess they do like residencies where they practice in hospitals. And my understanding is they don't make very much while they're doing that because they're learning their craft, they're learning their trade. And they do that for another, I think, 6 years or something. I don't know the specifics. And then, they'll get on with the practice or something. I know my father had a friend who was somebody that was a heart surgeon. And he was in school and residencies and different things till he was 30 years old. But when he got done with all of that, he got signed on to a practice where he was given a Mercedes and a country club membership and $600,000 a year. And this was 20 plus years ago, probably a lot more now. But to me, that was illustrating, I think, what this guy was getting at. And he said, well, what about a lawyer? And I said, right, they go to law school, they do clerkships, then they get to practice law. And even lawyers, I remember, I don't know what the statistic is now, but I mean, the average lawyer actually really doesn't make that much. Now, the very successful attorneys make a lot of money, right? So even then, there is a gap. And so I said, all right, well, what's your point? And he said, well, Paul, you said you want to make as much money as a doctor or a lawyer. And we just talked through the things that they have to do to earn the right for those sorts of incomes. He said, you're a sales guy. That's a noble profession. There's nothing wrong with being a salesperson. He said, but you're saying you want to earn that kind of income. And he said, I don't have a sales school to send you to. And he said, so what I will ask you is, what are you willing to sacrifice for what you want to become? What are you willing to do to become an absolute expert in your craft? He said, I'm not saying that you can't pick up the remote any night, but do you have to pick up the remote every night? And it was upon that conversation that I started reading books on the art of selling and the sales Bible and psychology of selling and Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and all sorts of things that help sculpt me professionally and teach me practices to be successful. And I really appreciated that because, less than 10% of professionals spend their own money and time to invest in themselves for their careers. But the top performers that make the top income in those general professions do. So what I'll ask you watching is, which do you want to be? If you want to achieve the highest levels of compensation, value, responsibility, and a sense of purpose with what you're doing with your life and your career, a sense of accomplishment and an income that you can be proud to bring home to your family for the goals that you have and the quality of life you deserve, reach out. Ask me how I do it for others. Find out how we do it to help people feel that they have the ultimate in control, empowerment, and freedom. Okay, guys. Talk soon.